Hey there, Pokemon trainers. I'm Ash.
I'm Nick.
And we're here today with a little quieter of a session, mostly taking the time to talk about all the scams in place, all the issues in regards to resealed products, just all sorts of things like that. Starting it off, we just heard that Japan is actually moving to a different system with how they handle their boxes. To kind of explain the point, I grabbed one of the Dominaria bundles. This is not Magic, by the way.
Yep.
We're just discussing Pokemon. This was just the only product I had available.
Conveniently, Magic happens to be using some of the same anti-theft tech now.
So with a lot of the Magic boxes, especially the bundles already, they've already switched to the system where it has the tamper-proof stickers. You have to tear the tab off to open it. This is phenomenal in place because it's really hard to, get it back perfectly like that. So if you see any part of it tampered with, you know that it could be potentially a resealed product. And that is, it's notorious right now in pretty much all the TCGs right now. Pokemon's been hit hard. Magic, we always hear horror stories about that. Just for a while, people would just take off the shrink wrap for these types of things and use that as a sort of like a deterrent for resealing. Yep. But that only goes so far.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, actually, there was, I believe, a couple of Etsy stores that were basically getting whack-a-moled by takedowns. But we're not sure if they got their hands on it or if they were producing it or what, but they were selling, different brand shrink wrap. Where they had Wizards of the Coast brand shrink wrap, and it looked identical to the shrink wrap you got off, your Magic booster boxes. And they had Pokemon Company. And people really couldn't figure out if they were are they did they get their hands on enough of this they can reproduce it faithfully? But from what it looked like in a lot of the images, they were just cutting it carefully off booster boxes. They would look for where the heat seal was, cut that off particularly, and slide the boxes out so they could resell just the shrink wrap. So you could put a box in and just very carefully reheat seal it and get that lovely, lovely repack without making it look too conspicuous.
Yeah, there's a lot of just sort of dangers on the internet with things like that. More time and time again, we hear horror stories, especially out of people with the Amazon warehouse. They don't even look at the product that's sent back to them. They just immediately put it on a pallet, and then the next person that buys it gets that one.
Yeah. Which that's another one that I'm weirdly in the know about.
Yeah, I was going to say, by all means.
Actually, I'm going to use this camera. Or basically what happened is Amazon has two fulfillment systems. There is the Filled by Amazon, and then there is the, obviously, you sell yourself system. Everything that's fulfilled by Amazon, unless you're paying a premium to get your name brand product only in its own little pile, everything just goes in the same pile. So you could, it's going to be, Bill and Joe's Card Shop and Scummy Ted's will be put into the exact same pile because it's just filled by Amazon and they're not paying the Amazon premium to keep their stuff separate to the side so that when a customer is buying from Bill and Ted's, they know they're getting a Bill and Ted box. Amazon doesn't care. It costs them no money. So all in the same pile. So we would sell a booster box online. We'd put it, we didn't sell them online. But if we did, we would say, hey, here, Amazon, here's 200 booster boxes. Please sell this for us. And they go, sure, no problem. Throw it all into a pile. Customer would buy a box, open it up, take everything, all the good stuff out, put the junk back in, reseal it, send it back to Amazon, and say, oh, actually, I didn't want it. I'm going to refuse it. Amazon says, sure, no problem. Here's your refund. Throws it right back in the pile, slaps a little sticker on it that says, hey, this is a refurbished product now. Problem is that the next time someone else goes and buys it, says, oh, yeah, this store's got great booster box prices. I'm going to buy that. They go to their pile, they take a booster box out, they ship it off to the next customer. It's our name on that box. Fulfilled by Amazon. Amazon doesn't care that it was a obvious resale box. They don't get paid enough to care about them. So whatever, ship it.
And then we get all the angry messages of why were you tampering with product? Why can't I get any hits? Things like that. This is not an uncommon story by any means. Like I said, we hear it all the time, especially with Magic again, we're from a Magic oriented store. But it is also it has been running rampant just because of the Pokemon community. For a while, product was just incredibly difficult to get your hands on. So, these tactics were used. And in response, Pokemon's making these moves to try and finally move towards the anti-theft. I don't want to say it's too little too late, but it's definitely going to be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. It's definitely unfortunate that a lot of the anti-tampering that they do usually comes at the cost of having to put more packaging on them, because when you've got, that terrible cardboard strip that can't be put back once it's torn, like, unfortunately, you end up with, like, things that are, like, basically double boxed, but it's really the only way to prevent people from cracking product open and taking things out of it. So,
I mean, for a while it was the don't be an asshole type of golden rule, and people started being assholes. So,
like, I'd be interested because Flesh and Blood does it right now. I think they might be one of the only ones. But they do the, like, recyclable kind of paper wrapper on their boosters, which is meant to be more eco-friendly. But it's also a nice little one where you can't really reseal those because, again, it's like a wax paper. So you tear it open. It's incredibly hard to put that back together. So I'm going to try to see if more companies might also start looking at that. Both it's just like hey, economically friendly packaging. It's recyclable, but also you can't repack those.
Yeah.
Or if you are, you're going to have to be very, very, like, it's going to require a lot more care instead of, like, the current one we see where they just cut the top of the pack, pull the cards out, and, like, shrink wrap it back down to get the seal again.
Yeah. Another thing that's, incredibly prevalent in these times is outside of resealed product, there's just loads and loads and loads and loads of proxy services, just fake card production companies, things like that, to the point where it's just really bad. And I know we have done an episode in the past where I don't know if it ended up actually getting on due to sound issues, where we discussed, like, the hazards of buying through Amazon, through eBay, things like that. These companies are taking steps, like eBay is doing the card guarantee, where if it's over a certain price, they check it to make sure it is indeed a real card, things of that sort. But you don't sound too happy about that one.
There's a few gripes with that service, namely, for example, if you're, like, doing signed cards, they don't verify those, but it still has to be shipped to the warehouse for the verification first. So there's been, again, this is mostly, I'm watching high-end Magic groups where someone will buy, like, an artist-signed card. It's over that threshold to where it has to go to the eBay grading. eBay gets it, says, oh, we can't verify this, sends it to the buyer. So it either just adds extra time on, or in a few cases, people have received essentially damaged cards because it's getting bounced around to all these different places. And by the time it finally arrives, it's been chewed up in the mail. Or the guy who got it on eBay looked at it and went, oh, I can't do this, threw it back in the plastic case and didn't seal it properly. And it's one of those ones where, like, it's so close to being good, but there's still a bunch of, like, little terms and conditions that they either need to kind of work out or be like, hey, if you're selling a signed card, you have to check, like, this box so it doesn't, like, get ping-ponged around.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're at least starting to take steps.
Yes.
We've run into issues in the past where we've had customers come up and be like, hey, I just got this card off a TCG player.
Yeah.
Nick knows exactly what story I'm talking about. It was a recently printed card, ended up being fake.
Ren 6.
Ren 6, yep. And lo and behold, went to the TCG player page, and the previous response from somebody else was review was saying they sent me 2 fake Ren 6s. So apparently they got them back and then shipped them to our friends.
Yep.
But again, kind of the moral of the story here is a lot of companies are out here either knowingly or unknowingly giving false product, helping along with the resale market and things like that. It's just, there's a lot to worry about in, this sort of day and age when buying product.
Yeah, I mean, for what's worth, TCG Player, I've obviously bought a lot of cards on TCG Player. You mostly just have to kind of be careful with who you're buying from. Like, if it's like, I was looking at one card in particular recently, and everywhere else had it for about $15. They're selling it for $4.99 plus 99-cent shipping. So I'm like, that looks really good. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to just check their page first. This is a newer seller. Like, they had, 20 sales completed, stuff like that. And a lot of the buyer feedback they had received was like, shipped extremely late, poor packaging, card seems weird. I'm like, Maybe I'm going to not buy from this person because sure, they have, their 20 sales, they're a new seller, they have 30 items listed. They could just be off the ground, but that's a lot of bad feedback very quickly. That's not just like, someone getting their footing. But then I go to another card that I was looking at, it was another of the play promos, of course. There's another seller who had, again, they're very low sales. I think like less than 100 as well. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good deal on that. Well, it's like $1.50 cheaper than everywhere else. So I'm gonna check them out. Go to their page and all their feedback is 5 stars, good shipping, fast shipping, nice seller. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trust this one. Got the card, showed up perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. Happened to go back to the other person. I was like, maybe I do take the gamble on that $5 card. Latest feedback, sent me fake card.
Yeah.
Like, that feels good that I didn't do that.
Yeah. Pretty much, if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Or if you're worried, look for the sellers that, like, there's usually a verified store badge on their page, which means they own a brick and mortar location. They've at least been doing this for a short time. A lot of the time, you can look for sellers that have like 50,000 like sales, things like crazy high sales numbers, which are usually good signs. Or if it's just like, for example, Full Grip Games is a pretty big name in Pokemon singles. They also have a TCG player store. So if you're never sure, you can always buy from like names you recognize and trust, whether it's your local shop or like some larger store like Full Grip. And just go, okay, I'm willing to pay like the dollar premium or whatever to get Full Grip singles to make sure I'm getting the real card. But even then, again, luckily for Pokemon, at least, unless it's like high-end cards, most people aren't willing to take the time to learn how to like counterfeit the dollar rares that people play a ton of.
I mean, arguable, because I did get that $30 box last year.
That's a whole box. That's a different story. Which I've got opinions on those.
Another thing that's we've been seeing a lot is just flat out counterfeit boxes.
Yep.
Like, I know, again, when we did this episode, when we did the episode on scams, we talked about Logan Paul getting supposedly a factory sealed for base set first edition like case and ended up being filled with G.I. Joe cards.
Yep. Good times.
Look, if especially if it's the high end stuff, look if there is a timeline of events. If there's the story of, oh yeah, my grandpa had it locked up in his attic for the past 10 years. That doesn't tend to float. Whereas, 2 years ago, it was sold to this private auction company. The private auction company now put it up last year. If you can track it like that, that tends to be just as good of a track record as the seller, honestly.
Yeah, like it's a thing that I do a lot when I'm doing my high-end magic stuff. Is it's pedigree. How do you have this? Where did it come from? What's the story behind it? Like, there's been so many people have the cardboard shoebox in mom's attic.
It's a unicorn case.
Yeah.
if it does happen, it's incredibly rare.
Yeah. Like when a seller buyer can come in and like give me something. Like, okay, that's a plausible story as to how you ended up with, like, in Magic, dual lands are typically one of the bigger ones. So, for example, recently I had someone come in looking to sell cards, and he had a bunch of very good condition dual lands. And one of the first things I was like, oh, yeah, where'd you get these? And he goes, oh, they've been sitting in my red-black discard deck for over 10 years now. I've always meant to finish this stupid thing, but I just never have the time. And gave me a nice little story, which is like, that absolutely sounds like a plausible... This guy bought these years and years and years ago, intending for one reason, never really got around to it. Now he's just looking to sell them because they've, grown exponentially since.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And I was like, oh, and he was like, oh yeah, I bought them from, so-and-so back when he ran a card shop in the mall.
And again, that just kind of adds to the whole pedigree aspect of it.
Yeah. Or like, for example, when I'm selling cards, they'll usually, how'd you get things? I go, oh, I bought them at Gen Con about 2015, 2016. They're like, oh, okay. Makes sense. These aren't like you've been sitting on them for 25 years since they were printed and it was the first card you ever opened kind of a story. It's like, no, I bought these like obviously 10 years ago, but I've had them. I'm looking to sell them now. And they're like, okay, cool. Makes sense. And it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, how'd you get this collection? Oh, my grandma was cleaning her attic out and I found this whole sealed first edition base set booster box In original shrink wrap, she only ever took it out on Sundays to brush it off lightly. I guarantee it's gem mint. And you're like, dude, there's saran wrap on this thing. You want to revisit that story real fast for me?
And like I said, you can get cases of both. Again, the like the one that you were just telling, it's likely not going to happen, but on occasion it does. And some people just happen to come across these collections. Like we got one of them several months back, which is how we got all our our Gem League Challenge and our first edition, 98, 99 cards, essentially. And just...
Yeah, true, yeah. But more often than not... Well, I guess it's when they have, like, a collection, it's believable. When they magically find individual cards that are expensive, it's like,
Yeah.
Like, when you come in with your binders and binders and binders, and there's some good stuff in there, it's like, okay. That's you played, Pokemon back in 2000, and they've just been sitting in your, childhood bedroom ever since.
Or passing over an unlimited demonic tutor to show off a lava tubes.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you collected or played back in the day when someone's coming in every, like, oh, hey, I magically found, $1 million of singles and I know exactly what I have, but I didn't realize I had them. It's like, did you magically find these, or did Wish.com give you your fortune? No, that's enough of that tangent right there.
And then, of course, again, going off like the faulty products as a whole, one of the popular ones that I've at least seen in the area for us is these really cute, like, they're like all gold cards. I think it's like a pack of 55. If you go to Amazon and look up Pokemon cards, it'll be like one of the first listings. Pokemon is very good about, making sure their artist is credited, making sure everything fits like the same sort of style, even when it comes to like the shiny Pokemon or, alters or anything like that. They're still very distinctly Pokemon. I don't know how to explain it better than that. Whereas with these gold cards, like, I think you've managed to find the original listing on Etsy, that they were just fan-made creations, just as a way to show their love for the game and just their favorites as a whole. Just you'll know when you see cards like that where it's just like there's just enough not adding up. Like if a card that has 30 million HP, it's fake.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It also, it's kind of the proxy versus counterfeit argument there, where it's like, for those, they make them in a way that they're supposed to stand out and be like not necessarily collectible pieces, but like they're meant to stand out and pop out and like look cool. Mm-hmm. And at least most listings that I find for them usually have like very large, very bold one. Like the first thing it says is like fake cards or not real cards, or like for fun only, stuff like that on them. And they make it very, very, very upfront. Like, these are not real. Do not buy these thinking you're getting a deal. Mm-hmm. These are meant to look cool in a binder and nothing else. Or like make for a silly game. These are not real cards. And then, without fail, there's always the comment of like, they sent me fake Pokemon cards. It's like, yeah.
Did you read the description, buddy?
It's 55 alternate art gold cards for $6. What did you think you were getting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that. And lately, I don't know if it's because of how eBay's cracking down on things, but like whenever I search for boxes and I get like a $40 or $50 box, it right down at the bottom of the description, it says, this is a manufactured item. These are not real cards. They were designed to look like Pokemon cards. Things of that sort.
Yeah.
And it's still it's still entirely 100% fake, but
oh yeah, no, I mean,
seeing that there have been a little bit of moves, things like that.
No, like there was one listing that I've been watching on Amazon for a while because like the entire seller market was blatantly fake Pokemon products. Mm-hmm. But what they were doing was they were listing it under a completely unrelated brand. So it was like brand, and I believe it was a sync company.
Oh, right.
Yes. But they made the description Pokemon TCG Evolving Skies Booster Box. And they just kept placing that description over and over and over. So whenever you'd search, Pokemon Evolving Skies, it would pop consistently right up top because they had every single category filled in with Pokemon Evolving Skies Booster Box for $49.99. And they just went down online. You'd go Battle Styles $49.99, Rebel Clash $49.99, and I'd check back in like a day or two, and without fail, the whole page would be gone. And then there would be a seller page again with a slightly different name, but still you could tell it was the same person just doing this over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm wondering, is the manufacturing cost on those things so low they can just afford to do that? Or is it like, is there like a dedicated group doing these things right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was all exactly the same copy paste. All they would ever do is change like the expansion name.
Yeah.
So it was, Pokemon TCG Evolving Skies booster box, real game cards, Pokemon TCG Evolving Skies, and just like over and over. Like, Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably would have been like the same place you got that obviously fake box from.
Yeah.
Because like $49.99 flat cost across the board, and they intentionally always SEO'd it so that it was always pinging like the most expensive thing currently. Because it was like Evolving Skies, and then Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, and then you'd go further down and Unified Minds, XY Evolution. So it's like they know what they're doing.
And sometimes you're just like me, whereas when I bought that fake box, I was sitting here like, maybe it's just, reseals. And honestly, that's kind of what I was hoping for. Because what was it? It was a Unified Minds box, wasn't it?
Yep, it was Unified Minds.
That's before I really started playing again. So I wanted to try and get some of the cards for my collection. I knew I wasn't going to be getting any of the good hits or anything like that. Because again, I was going out the assumption that it was resealed.
Yeah.
Ended up being entirely fake.
Yeah, which reseals are a particular thorn, but at least you're getting real cards in that case. Yeah. Which, for those who may not have experienced them before, a resealed pack is basically exactly what it sounds like. People will buy a booster pack, carefully cut it open, take all the cards out, and filter junk back into it. Maybe they just put, all the commons back in, and they keep the rare and the code card and replace it with, 2 basic energy. And just lots of things like that, where they just take either individual packs or whole boxes or, ETBs, whatever their target is. Open it up, take anything good out of it, put junk back in, get a little shrink wrap, seal it back up, shrink the whole thing and sell it. And usually they'll either sell it as like refurbished or like good condition, collectible, things like that. They don't usually flag them as new, because then someone can say, hey, this isn't a new product, the shrink wrap is broken. And they get hit with usually the eBay buyer guarantee, just refunds them on the spot. So they're like, look, it's refurbished or it's used. We're not going to mention that by used we mean we opened every single booster pack, took all the cards out, and gave you 100 basic energy. Yeah,
and that just kind of goes back to the box issue as a whole that Amazon especially has that issue with. But along with the reseals, there's also the instant collection, the bulk buys, things of that sort. And 90% of the time, people know what to take to make sure those bulk things don't really result in anything. Yeah, I was just gonna say sometimes they're nice, just again for collector's sake, to try and complete collections of that sort. No, I'm not saying don't ever do things like this, but keep in mind that people have looked at these cards, know what are the top cards, and a lot of times we'll just use like, oh, you might get a Charizard as a way to like try and tempt people. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get maybe $10 of worth back. In all honesty, like the instant collection, like I don't know, mostly just go like instant collection or like collection in a box, things like that, are probably my most hated thing about like resealed, like repackaged product, especially because like. Again, I look at a lot of these. I've been tempted to buy them in the past just kind of show off what they look like. But I cannot bring myself to give them money for this kind of a thing. And there was one in particular that I was looking at for a long time because they built like an entire massive seller off of it, where all they ever did was repack Pokemon. Which
all day.
Isn't this also the same person that also had like a guaranteed PSA X? Or is this...
No, that was a different seller.
Oh, okay.
No, this one was, they had like 50 different listings where it was instant collection, 10 card, instant collection, 25, so on and so forth. Up to like instant collection, 5,000 cards, right? And you're like, oh my God, 5,000 Pokemon cards for $50. It seems like such a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then in their description, they make it seem really nice. Like, oh, for every 100 cards, you're guaranteed one V Max, G or GX, like blah, blah, blah. Sorry. And like you're guaranteed 5 foil shinies per 100. And it's like, okay, they've got this really big breakdown of what you get.
Mm-hmm.
It blah, blah, blah. It's for, the instant collection 5,000s. It's guaranteed to be only cards from Sword Shield base set through battle styles, like whole massive breakdown, description, everything. You're like, okay, maybe this won't be a terrible, ripoff because they're very clearly laying out. And then you go to the reviews. And it's someone, purchased item instant collection 5,000. And it's, I received 300 Timples.
Yep.
Or like, yeah, all my Vs were like the battle deck Vs that are basically like pennies online. And like and one person very nicely uploaded images of his whole collection buy, where he got like 100 to 200 of basically the same card every single time. All of his supposed shinies and Vs and everything like that were like blister exclusives, which again are for the most part pennies. Little I think he got, I want to say like 8 or 9 of the Raboot V that just came out of one of the decks that we still have on our shelves because it's a bad deck. And they just did that for every single thing where this dude dropped $50 thinking he would get, that's a lot of cards. I've got 8 or 9 sets worth of random stuff to get. And then he's like, yeah, no, I got like 90% battle styles, 10% base Sword Shield. Mm-hmm. And it was all garbage. Like they didn't include the fact that like they include basic energy as part of the we guarantee no duplicates, where it's like, yeah, I opened 3 of this and then a basic energy. So technically I didn't get 4 of the same card in the packs. And stuff that's like, they knew what they were doing and they made it like as scummy as possible to make it sound so good in the description. Like, oh man, I can get all these cards for not too much money and there's lots of randomization and they guaranteed that there's going to be no more than 4 per pack.
And look at this. You might have a chance of getting this base set Charizard, which there's... Yep. No. You 90, like not even 90, like 95% of the time, you do not stand a chance on getting anything remotely as expensive as that in just like a standard $50 pack.
Or if they really are willing to give away something like a base set Charizard, they've done the math on them. Mm-hmm. They sat there and went, okay, I'm going to put 1 Charizard and I'm going to make 100,000 of these collections. Mm-hmm. And it's $10 a collection. So when that one person gets the Charizard, I'm still up $1 million. And they do that every single time where they pick out that 1 or 2 big hit cards, show off, maybe they even do a video. They showcase they're putting it into a random pack and then shuffling it into the box of packs you can pick from.
Yep.
But they make so many of them that they're mathematically always going to win. Mm-hmm. And they prey off people who either just want like the quick, oh, that seems kind of fun. Or like the one that I've seen a lot of is the one of the big reviews I'll see is bought this for my grandkid's birthday. Without fail, there's like 30 or 40 grandparents who are like, oh, my grandson loves Pokemon. I bought him 10 of these and he was so happy. It's like, because you're buying it for a child first off, but it's like they're preying on the people that don't know better than to not buy that kind of stuff. Because they know my grandkid or my son or my daughter or my child likes Pokemon. This seems like a good deal for Pokemon cards. I'll buy this that way. I don't have to, worry too much about figuring out what they want to get. Because everyone likes getting packs of random Pokemon cards.
Oh, yeah.
And they this $100, cool, there you go, great birthday gift, except for that same $100 is a booster box online now.
Yep.
But they know that, mom and dad aren't going to a lot of the time realize that $100 can potentially buy a whole booster box that's guaranteed to be authentic and randomized versus $100 to eBay scammer 101 who's going to say, hey, thanks for the $100, your kid got $5 cards.
Yep.
I detest those people so much. I can rant for days about it. I hate them. It's,
again, instant collections and things of that sort are very much a double-edged sword where sometimes you do get legitimately good people or people that don't know exactly the value of cards. Yeah, I think once or twice I ended up letting a $15, $20 card slip through when we were making Magic collections because I just didn't know at the time that, that was an expensive card.
No, but...
And, it does happen. But
like if you're jonesing for a collection buy, go on eBay, go on like the Goodwill auction sites. Look for the people that are selling like a stupidly large amount of cards at like a bulk rate price because they just want to get them out of like their basement.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see the guy who's got 8 5-roll boxes of I don't know their Pokemon cards. I got them from a tenant who left the house. You can probably gamble on that one.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the guy who's 4.8 rating, 100,000 sales, selling Pokemon Instant Collections, it is going to be a scam every time.
Not to mention, a lot of times people also pay for like fake reviews.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the other.
Just yeah, my grandson loved all these cards, and then you see literally the same review 10 times in a row, and it's
on the one that was ranting about the guy who nicely gave me an image of everything that he got.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 50 or so reviews in a row. Mary J, my grandson loved this. Ethel F, my grandson loved this. I don't know, like just always female sounding name, last initial, my grandkid loved this.
Mm-hmm.
Copied, pasted 50 times in a row. So you see 55 stars from totally not obvious purchase review. And then review number 51 was the guy going, dude, y'all sent me 5,000 cards and couldn't even bother to like slightly mix it up.
Yeah. You guys sent me 4,999 Timples in a Lombre.
Yeah.
Which that would suck. Being on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the internet though. There's always going to be new ways and new schemes of get rich fast plans. Pokemon had this for a while. Again, it's starting to calm down now with Pokemon becoming readily available as it is.
I mean, that's one of the best ways for them to combat like the scammers and scalpers is just flood the market.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares that you're, oh, well, sure, I could buy this $20 repack, or I can just go down to my local game store or the Target or the Walmart down the road or whatever, and just buy a bunch of packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That same $20 gets me 5 packs, which I don't know. Maybe there is a hit in one of those.
Yeah. Same thing. Like on that blade, that's another one that I've seen where it'll be, the random pack scam, where it's 12. It'll be $11.99, 3 random packs, and it can be anywhere from this set to this set. It's only going to be Fusion Strike, but it can be anywhere from this set to this set.
It's Fusion Strike. When in doubt, Fusion Strike battle styles, maybe Chilling Reign because that market has tanked by now, but.
It's 9 times out of, like a lot of the time. That's another one that's quite common, but it's less insidious on that one where you still run the risk of getting like the resealed packs, but most of the time when they're doing like random pack, you can get anything from I don't know, like XY all the way up to Sword Shield. They're going to send you the Sword Shield every time, or
Steam Siege, or what is the Blazing Darkness? I think No, not Blazing Darkness. Darkness Blaze. There was another XY set that absolutely tanked other than Steam Siege. I can't remember what it is right now.
And then like
Burning Shadows.
There you go, yeah. But like, and it's not necessarily a scam, but it always feels a little dirty when I see it happening. Is the people that do live pack openings for their viewers that bought the packs. Like, I get it. It works, sure. I don't know. It's a weird market. I don't really understand why you'd pay someone else to open your packs. That's half the fun of getting them. But at least with those, and I'll give them credit to the people that do this thing, they're doing it live on camera so they can't fake the pulls. And a lot of the time, most of the ones that I'll see, the bigger ones, they let the viewer choose the packs. Yeah. So they'll, like, viewer A donated $50. Hey, can I get 4 Evolving Skies and 2 Vivid Voltage? Sure, you're going to pull them off, their pack wall and crack them open live. It's like, okay. Again, I don't get how you're double dipping on both getting to open the pack and then get money for the pack. But at least, again, it's live, it's on camera, there's no faking the pulls. And I've seen some where even, like, there was one who popped up who literally did a thing where he said, if you spend 50 or more on, like, my pack opening show, and you don't get a hit, I guarantee you'll get a random card from like the hit spin. And I was watching, he cracks all the packs, and I think the guy spent like $150 and just got junk. Like random packs got junk. He goes, okay, so you spent $150, so that gets you 2 hits, and he pulls an ETBU of sleeved cards that are facing backwards, grabs 2, flips them over, and he goes, "Oh, you got a Charizard VMAX, and I want to say like a Blastoise V or something like that." It was like not too good and pretty good, but it's like, okay, that's certainly a unique way of doing it.
Yeah, but
and then
I don't know. The more I see and hear about it, the more I'm just like, I want to get in on that market.
Yeah. Oh, I would absolutely, if I was allowed to just have like a wall of booster packs behind me and just have people throw money at me to turn around, pull a pack, and just crack it open. I'd do that.
I would absolutely do that in a heartbeat, and I can definitely give reactions along the way, like, man, this is such a good pack, things like that.
Well, the other is that like the guy's filming it from a shoulder down view, so he's got his pack wall in front of him. Camera point here. The only thing you see is like this. So like he's not even on camera. He is being paid to be disembodied hands opening booster packs. Like I wish I'd gotten on that market. Damn.
We definitely got a little off track. We started talking about scams and now we're down to people opening packs for you.
I mean, again, like that's one of the I'd argue that's like one of the ones where that's not a scam. It's one of the few times I'm like, yeah, you're buying a random thing online that actually can't turn out to be a scam because you get to watch what you get live. There's no way for them to fake it, unless this person has had the foresight to film billions of pack openings and then just like splice them around depending on which order he needs to open the packs in. But it's like, I guess kind of the moral is like, if you're buying any listing that claims to be like random, or 99% of the time it's not random. They know exactly what they're doing. They've done the math on it where they go, oh cool, we're gonna sell thousands of Battle Styles packs for $5 a pop on average, and then every so often let that like one Cosmic Clip Glow for also $5, but it's cool because we just made $1 profit on 40 boxes of Battle Styles basically. And oh no, one of our Cosmic Clips got out into the wild. Oh look, we're giving away good packs. Ooh, thanks for the money, suckers.
Yeah. When in doubt, always vet where you're planning on selling from, check reviews, check if there's anything off about it. People are very good when it comes to like comments and everything that, oh man, they gave me a resealed pack. Always keep an eye out for that. Like if something seems too good to be true, just sit down, look into it, because it probably is. And if it is too good to be true and everything looks genuine, if you feel comfortable, by all means you can always take that plunge, but you're not guaranteed anything ultimately. like
the
go to local sellers if you can. Also just
safest way, buy locally. Obviously we're gonna be biased, we say buy from a local game store, but it's like your local game store, Walmart, Target, like somewhere you can at least see the product you're getting before you buy it. Past that, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist is fine. Again, usually you can get to see it before you finalize your purchases. Even sit down with the seller if it's something like a high-end Pokemon card. You're like, hey, what's the story behind this? They can again give you kind of like, oh yeah, I pulled this when I was 13 years old. I've had it in my childhood binder. Blah blah blah. It's a little beat up because obviously I was a kid and didn't take care of it. Like you can get that story, and you can also see the card before you decide. Yeah, I want to get this. Past that, again, TCG player, if you're going to use it, just be smart. Look for sellers that you trust, either good reviews, good feedback, they're a big seller, or even just like, hey, they're a small seller, but they've got good feedback so far. I'll give them a chance.
Again, Full Grip, great games. That's where we do a lot of our shopping as well. Phenomenal resource. And just when it comes to like brick and mortar shops that deal in Pokemon, I know it's kind of a growing market, but weirdly enough.
Yeah.
But the Pokemon singles community is kind of a mess right now where there's no like dedicated places or anything to sell it. There's no Card Kingdom, Channel Fireball, which is no longer Channel Fireball.
No, they're now TCG player.
Yeah. Things of that sort. We had that in Magic. We don't have that in Pokemon. So a lot of people just go to like the tried and true again, Full Grip, Savari Zone does some stuff. Look for the few big name sellers there are, and if you can, go that way.
Oh yeah, speaking TCG player, like another safe one is just there's something good old TCG player direct. It's usually almost all the cards cost more, but they ship in one big package. If you hit, I believe, 35 or more, you get free shipping on it. which is a little harder to do for Pokemon singles. But it's like, for example, like one of the big ones that I've ordered a lot from recently is Bill and Ogres, which is a very large card shop, but they sell all of their Pokemon singles to TCG Player because they just ship it to TCG. TCG fulfills all the orders. So I'll get, I'll have an order that's Bill and Ogres, except it's TCG fulfilled, and it's like 40, 50 cards. Because, why not? They have 266 Ultra Balls listed right now. I guess I can probably buy from them.
Yeah, or the just looking for TCG verified accounts, because, again, you're paying more, but you can be guaranteed they're legitimate. They ship on time, and they're good about their grading / vetting when it comes to like cards and everything of that sort.
And then probably the last ditch effort if you can't find your card on like locally TCG Player, maybe you want on eBay and there's just no listings. It's gonna be a weird one. Go to events.
Go to events, yeah.
Yep. No, like that is the last place where if all the other sources are dried up, you might just have to drive. Go to your local championship events. There might be either vendors there or someone who happens to have the card in the binder and they're willing to trade it away.
Yeah, like regionals, internationals, everything of that sort. There will always be people that sell singles or even sell boxes if you're still in that, if you're wanting to just take crack at older cards or whatnot. Events is really a good way to go. It's going to be more expensive by all means, but like again, you get that guarantee that you can see what you're getting.
Yep. Just last month we were at Gen Con Indianapolis, and you were drooling over a lot of the packs where they were all marked up like a couple of dollars because you're at an event, it's you get it there or you don't get it at all. But they had these are reputable stores. They obviously kind of need to be that to be at Gen Con. And there's, at least some of them were bigger names than Magic, obviously, but they do Pokemon on the side. Hello, Adam over at Hot Sauce Games.
Yeah.
I've known him for many years. But he had everything from base set all the way up until, I believe, at the time, it would have been Astral Radiance. And he had basically a full box of everything laid out, prices per pack. And if you wanted to buy it, it was expensive, but you could get them there.
Yeah, I think it was, they had like Team Rocket packs, which were the ones in particular I was staring at, were, I want to say almost at least $45 a pack. And I think those were even like Korean ones. And so it's like not even English. It gets expensive.
I looked at a handful. I'm like, oh, this pack's, I think he had fossil packs, and I looked and I was like, oh, on TCG Player they're $75. He's got his at $90. So again, he's marking up obviously because you buy them there. But it's the markup is that you get to see the pack, you get to, cool, it's good, I like it, I'll take it, it's in good condition, versus just buying a pack online and hoping that
it's real.
Yeah, or even just like it shows up but it's still in good condition.
Or that it hasn't resealed in some way, shape, or form.
The long and short of it is be smart, be aware. Pokemon Company is making the steps to try and combat some of this, but ultimately a lot of it does kind of come down to individual responsibility when you're buying smaller items. Like Pokemon can do all they want to secure like their big sealed product, but past that, it's on you.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is something that we start seeing in the West, because again, we're seeing it in mass here. Like I love the idea that we're starting to move towards tamper-proof stickers and the pull tab that once it's messed with, you literally can't reseal it. Like that's a phenomenal idea. I hope that's something we can see more of. Like,
yeah, honestly, even if it's like they just make the swap over to like the pull tabs and the cardboard just for environmental reasons. Because that switches from needing to be in, like branded shrink wrap to just a cardboard box that can be recycled safely now.
Yeah.
That's another hope, is just because luckily a lot of these tamper-proof things are also just very nicely eco-friendly.
Oh yeah.
And I would not complain about being able to just recycle more, because like I love Pokemon, but man, it makes a lot of garbage when you open that stuff up. Just
me staring intently at like Ultimate Collections and all those. Not the Ultimate Collections, the Premium Collections.
At least those are really like it's the shrink wrap, but it's a nice box outside of the handful of little plastic holders.
Oh no, I'm talking about like the Infernape B we just got, where it's the giant thing of plastic, the slab that has the Infernape B, and then the giant one, and then it's just a lot.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like the Charizard, like Ultra Premium, where it's the nice big fancy box, but outside of like the little individual plastic card holders is all one sealed off one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're little like V boxes. Yeah, it's cardboard and then 2 giant chunks of plastic with little plastic holders and a whole lot of trash for like 4 packs in a card.
Also, actually, speaking of ultra premium collections, going off a huge tangent, mostly so to put this announcement out there because I wasn't aware until one of my coworkers told me the Arceus Premium Collection, Ultra Premium Collection, is GameStop's exclusive. Last I checked, it's still available through them. $99. Go get it.
It's not going to be your local store. You have to pre-order it on GameStop, and you should probably do it now because
like I said, GameStop exclusive. It releases December 7th, I want to say. So like right before Christmas. Honestly, a really good Christmas gift.
Yeah,
the ultra premium collections are always phenomenal and great, especially for those collectors.
Yeah. Yep.
Like we'll probably be doing a live opening of both that and the Charizard collection when that comes out. Those are always fun.
Yeah, definitely open up the ultra premiums when we get them. Also,
but yes, I definitely just mostly wanted to get that announcement out there.
Oh no, it also is like slight bonus. Also, if you pre-order, it's guaranteed at MSRP, which unfortunately secondary market really likes to come into play on those things very quickly.
Yeah, we're still seeing that on the Charizard, considering I think it's still selling for $250 right now on TCG Player, when I think MSRP is $120.
Yep. Yeah, there's already a handful of stores I saw doing. If you buy a sealed case of like any of their V boxes, they will guarantee you 1 Charizard at MSRP. Because they have so much of the other stuff. They're like, hey, give us $120 right now and we'll give you a Charizard for only like $150. And people are snapping that deal up too. Which,
they're still hitting Pokemon cards out of it. It's kind of a win-win.
But the Charizards are already they're not even out yet, and the price just like keeps climbing. Again, slight tangent here. I do apologize. To the TCG Player buyer who chose to buy a Charizard Ultra Premium Collection for $499.99, you're an idiot.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they're going to be much more plentiful than the last Ultra Premium we saw because production supply chains are starting to get cleaned up a little bit. And again, even if you're like the world's biggest collector, there's no reason to pay that amount. Shop around, find like a reputable seller first who's willing to either cut you a deal on it or like give it to you at a somewhat more reasonably marked up price than buying the first listing you see online. Because I can almost guarantee you the people that do these like $500, $1,000 for an ultra premium, it's a placeholder. They don't want to sell it yet, but if you're willing to drop, $1,000 on a box, yeah, sure, we'll give it to you.
Like the $1,400 Lily fetched, which is now not even $200, I don't think.
Exactly.
Wait until the product releases, in all honesty. Or at the very least, just keep an eye on listings as a whole. Watch the market. If things look like they're starting to drop or level out, then that's when you can probably purchase.
I think that is just going to be another episode just talking about like smart times to purchase cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now,
I think we've gone off on enough tangents.
Yeah, it's like think smart, buy smart, don't overpay because it's the first listing you see. If something feels off, just leave it alone. Like it's not worth having to fight like PayPal or eBay or TCG Player, Amazon, or whoever your seller of choice is to get your money back because you got scammed out of a card. And also, for God's sake, please stop calling your local game store asking when the Charizard Premium Collections are available. We don't know yet.
Well, we do know. We don't know how many we're getting, so we can't put them up for pre-sale. Because we like being honest and making sure we don't oversell.
Okay, correction. Please stop calling your local game store asking how many you're allowed to buy and do we offer bulk rates on them.
Thank you. Anyways, yeah, we went on a lot of tangents, but I hope a little bit, some of this information helps in some way, shape, or form. There was definitely a lot of different variations.
I intended for this to be a short one. It didn't go that way because I have many, many, many opinions. They're all the most important opinions, obviously.
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 Anyways, I'm Ash.
I'm Nick.
And we'll catch you next time.